Hey campers, welcome to day 3 of the gardening skill group, and today we're going to make some seed starters. So the first seed starter we're going to make is out of an egg carton. So we're going to take this old egg carton, and I've already cut some out of it for my samples and stuff, and I'm just going to use some scissors. You're going to have to ask your parents to help you for this probably, because it's kind of hard to cut, and I'm just going to cut one of the little cups out of this egg carton. So as you can see, there's a few little dips here, so I'm going to use some masking tape to tape around here so that way none of our soil falls out. So the thing about all of the seed starters I'm going to show you is they're all technically biodegradable, which means if you want to just plant your little plants once they sprout, like right here, you can do that. The only thing that won't biodegrade on here is the tape, so if you guys want to take off the tape before you plant them, that might be helpful. But for the purposes of keeping it contained, I want to have it all taped up so that none of my soil or water could get out. So now I have a little cup. So I'm going to take some potting soil. You can just get this at the grocery store or at a plant store if you want. And I'm going to take a plastic spoon because since our container is so little, it's going to be too hard to use a small shovel. And I'm just going to start filling my cup with soil. And I want soil pretty close to the top because I'm going to plant marigold seeds, and they need to be no more than 1/4 inch from the surface of our soil. So I have a decent amount of soil in here, so I'm just going to use a spoon and make a little hole in the center and put about 3 seeds in your little cup. So again, I'm going to use some of my mom's old marigold seeds, but again, you can buy these at the store. So I have 3 right here. I'm just going to stick them in. I'm just going to cover it up with the soil with my spoon. They're all hidden now. I'm going to use our watering can and just give it a little bit of a water. And then I'm going to sit it in a plastic dish, so that way if the water kind of drains out in the bottom, I won't have a mess wherever I sit it. Now for these, if it's going to be nice weather and it's not going to be too rainy or stormy, you can sit them out if you have a porch like this that gets some sunlight. If the weather is supposed to be a little bit stormy, like it was when I was trying to start these a few weeks ago, I just sat them on a windowsill in my house that got plenty of sun. And if you don't have any windowsills, you can maybe set a little table there or a little shelf. Just make sure it gets plenty of sunlight. The second seed starter we're going to make is going to be one with an eggshell. So the first thing I did was I made a little cup out of the egg carton, just like I did for the first one. But this isn't going to get the soil directly on the inside. It's going to hold my eggshell, because the eggshell otherwise might roll around a little bit and tip over. So I just need some help with that. So you're going to need an egg. And I have this little dish here because I want to save the egg, because you don't want to waste an egg just because you're planting a flower. If you need help cracking an egg, again, ask your parents. When you crack your egg, just make sure you have enough of a cup left over. So if the first one accidentally smashes, that's okay, just get another one and try again, because you're going to save the egg. So I'm just going to set the other half, I'm not using aside here. I'm going to cover up my egg because we want to save this for later. Set that aside. And I'm going to set my little eggshell in my little cup. That way it's a nice little nest in there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to plant your seed the exact same way as we did the last one. So I'm not going to show you that because you can just go back and watch that again if you need to. Just put some soil in here and put a few seeds in the top, just like under like 1/4 inch of the soil, and water it a little bit, and then you're going to sit it in the sun. The next seed starter we're going to use either a toilet paper roll or a paper towel roll, and you're going to make it into a cute little cup just like this. So what you need to do is just take either a paper towel roll or toilet paper roll and cut off a piece that's maybe, I don't know, like 2 or 3 inches across, and we're just going to cut it across with some scissors. So here's my little piece. Now the next thing you need to do is on the one end, you need to make 4 slits on each little quadrant here. So we're going to make a slit that's about maybe a 1/2 inch to 1 inch long with our scissors. on all 4 sides. And then what it's going to do is it's going to create little flaps for us. You can see, I'm going to bend these out so you can see we have flaps. And then what we're going to do is we're going to close up the flaps and overlap them and tape them together. So I'm just going to fold one in, and the next one, and then another one, and another one. And again, this is where we need to use a little bit of tape. And even though tape isn't biodegradable, you can just take off the tape if you're going to plant this as it is. But we need to keep some tape to keep it together. So now that you have your little cup, just like this one, you're good to go ahead and take some of your potting soil and plant your marigold seeds. And make sure you water it and put it in a sunny spot. The next seed starter we're going to make is made out of newspaper. So what you're going to do, just take some old newspaper, make sure you check with your parents that they're done reading it before you use it and cut it up. And we're just going to roll it up. And it's kind of going to look like the paper towel roll, because we need to roll it into a bit of a tube before we can really make it into a little pot. So I'm going to leave mine pretty thick, just because when you go to water your plant, you don't want it to just spill out everywhere. So we want it to have a decent amount of a barrier here. And I'm going to start by just taping my tube together so I have a nice tube. The next thing we're going to do is, again, very similar to when we made our one with our paper towel tube, because we just need to cut off a piece that's about 2 or 3 inches long. And then, again, we're going to make 4 slits on the ends, that way we can fold it up and have flaps. So I'm going to make 4 1/2 to 1 inch slits. And then I'm going to fold the flaps down. And just like last time, while tape is not biodegradable and newspaper is, we still need to tape it so it stays together for now. I'm going to tape it on both sides down there, just so that way it's nice and sturdy. Okay, so now you have your little cup, and you can add potting soil and plant your seeds, and make sure you water it and put it in a nice sunny spot. Alright campers, our final seed starter that we're going to make today is going to use a tea bag. So what I did was I heated some water in this little cup, just as if I was going to enjoy myself a nice glass of tea, and I might actually drink this later. So I'm just going to pull out my tea bag, just going to squeeze it off a little bit because we don't want it to be super wet, and I'm going to put it into this dish. I set my tea aside. So what you want to do is you want to rip open the top that has the staple and the little label, so that way it's nice and open like this. And from there, because it's all really wet, I'll show you up here, we're just going to tear a little hole in the center of our tea bag. So it kind of looks like we already have some soil in there, but we are going to still add some soil. The tea, it kind of works like compost and it'll help the seeds sprout, but we do need to add a little bit of soil in here. So I'm going to show you that now. So we're just going to take our little plastic spoon and scoop out some soil. And I like to mix around the tea leaves with the soil, so that way they get all the rich nutrients from the tea, but then it also has the nice soil. Alright, so that's all mixed around now. And I'm going going to take some more marigold seeds. Just pull out some pods here. And again, you only need to plant like 2 or 3, since it's going to be a very small little pot. So I just have 3 seeds right there. I'm going to add a little bit more soil on the top. Just make sure that they're in there, getting all the goodness from the tea and the soil. And then I'm just going to water it, like we did before. You don't want to water it too much because you're just going to keep watering it later. But again, you can sit this either outside or on the windowsill, and then you have your seed starters.